What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. My name is Brennan Tassif. I'll be your host. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com/merch-store. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll put the shorts up there, the full video, the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening. I love it. I hope you love it. Subscribe on Patreon, too. We do bonus episodes. I do Tales from the Restaurant, where I talk about celebrities I've waited on and whether they're assholes or not, which is super fun. Also, we do a pre-show banter for my other show, Cheers from the Press Box with Joe Dorville. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on over there, too. Make sure you just subscribe everywhere, just all over the place. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're not leaving the mean comments, thank you for that. Maybe leave a couple nice ones.
Grab me your beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. I am your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do, hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do, to hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, Austin Jennings.
Oh my God, what's up?
What's going on?
Oh my God, what is going on?
Well, before we get too far into anything, you have a one-man show. Plug, promote, let everybody know.
I do. I have a one-man show, A Game of Swords Guide to Happy Endings. We just did a run in Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
and it was almost sold out. And then before that, we did a little presentation in New York, and then before that, we were in Hudson Valley. So I do have a show, and it is funny, and it's very sad and vulnerable too. So
love it.
Well,
and so we're going to talk about it. So you've been on the show before.
Yeah.
Everybody will have your
Great.
first episode linked. We talk about growing up in the South and all sorts of fun stuff and parties and getting in trouble. But then I guess it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You had mentioned the idea of doing a one-man show because I had done mine.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, if you ever need anything, let me know. Yeah. And so take us through, because the listeners have heard my story, but it is one of those things where you have some of these, for me, I had some of these stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, these aren't funny enough to make bits out of because they're pretty sad, some of them. But also it's like an important thing. Like I want to tell people like, hey, if you've been like down this road before, there is hope. Like you can come back to the other side. Yeah. So I did a one-man show. I make a joke about it on stage where I say writing jokes about trauma is hard. So you just rebrand, call it a one-man show.
That's
and
brilliant.
Like, hey!
I love it. Yeah.
So for you, take us through, because I was there at the start of all this.
Yeah,
and
you
so
were.
I want to know how the idea came to you to do it as a show, and then just take us through the whole thing.
Okay. Well, the idea did not come to me to do the show. The idea was it was that you know Anna.
Of course, friend of the show.
Yeah, we love Anna. Amazingly, brilliantly talented woman. I had just had this crazy client experience, and I was having coffee with her, and I was telling her about it, and she was just like, "Austin, you would be stupid not to write this as a show." And so, I mean, I had like personal, like little, like I keep a diary, like my dear diary, of these experiences, because I've done gay massage for like over a decade now.
Yeah.
I've seen everything, and so I just started writing, and I had about 98 pages of very like memoirs of a geisha. I know, right? And so then it was just about like piecing it together, and I really didn't anticipate the timeline going as quick as it did, because it was really like, it was like a year ago I started like kind of like I have like Post-it notes all over my wall. It looks like a serial killer. Of
course.
Like,
that's what you have to do, because
yeah.
we're visual people. Like, you have to see it lined out.
And so I'm just like, okay, well, if that goes there and that goes there, and these are kind of connected through this way. And I still wasn't sure how, like, because my show exists in like a narrative structure, like there's something immediately happening, and then there are these side stories. I didn't have the container that it lived in. And then, I'm in 12-step. I'm like,
Yeah.
God gave me the container. and it was terrifying and like crazy. But I remember getting in the Uber after this insane client up in Greenwich, Connecticut, and just being like, oh, this is going to be great for my show.
Yeah. So is that because we talked about the crazy client in Connecticut on your first episode?
Yeah.
So was that the same client?
I think it might be a different.
Okay,
crazy,
because you had a crazy experience in Connecticut before.
Yeah.
With like drugs.
Oh yeah,
and
no, it's the same one.
It's the same guy.
Same one.
Oh my God.
Same one. Great.
Full circle.
Yeah,
that was one of your
great guys.
big stories
Great
on the last episode.
Yep.
So before, because we only touched on it last time.
Yeah.
And this is something, because again, this has been a part of your life. Go ahead.
For legal purposes, everything in my show is it is dramatized and it is not based on a specific person.
Got it.
It's condensing over a decade of massage experience into a 55, although the last show we did was an hour, sometimes hour-long narrative.
Yeah.
So yes.
No,
keep
that's
going.
I totally understand that.
Yeah. I'm
because
like,
I have
this
bits,
isn't based on anyone.
I have bits where
Yeah.
I have like 4 or 5 different stories, but I
Yeah.
condense it all to make it one
Yeah.
bit. And then people are always like, "Is that true?" And I go,
Yeah.
"Well, kind of, maybe a little, but it's kind of like we're entertainers. We're entertaining."
Yeah.
But this has been a part of your life for 10 years, as you said.
Yeah.
And I know we touched on it on the last episode, but this is something that I find very fascinating is how did you even get into the line of work?
Okay, so that well, it's funny in the show I talk about it that I was a terrible server, like I was a really bad waiter, and I remember during COVID I went back to I was cocktail serving at like Rise, which is a gay bar in Hell's Kitchen, and I was so bad that I was like I could do this or I could do the side hustle I've been doing for forever, and I feel like that one's actually better for my self-esteem because like waiting tables I would just be like I need to stop doing this because I'm clearly like deficient in many ways.
And people can be mean.
People can be mean in massage, but people can be so mean waiting tables.
Yeah. And I go through this all the time. Like I posted something about the other day, and we were talking about this before, but I was like, if you don't tip, that's fine. Just tell me ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because you're my boss.
Yeah.
You're the one paying me. So
Yeah.
if you're not going to pay me, you'll receive the same kind of service. And people online go crazy if you talk about money. But it is one of those things where it's like, oh, you're the people.
Yeah.
You're the people who come into my restaurant and then treat me like shit and then don't tip. I was like, you're the people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same in massage, but to your point, it's not. People get weird when it
People
comes
get really
to food.
fucking weird. Like I cussed, whatever.
Yeah, you can fucking say whatever you want.
Fuck. No, it's that thing though where it's like I know when I got into it, I was just like I thought it was maybe going to be a year or 2 of my life, and then like something would happen and change, and it didn't. And I was just like, but I got a lot better at it, and I was like, it's definitely a skill that I have now, and it's one that like actually is helping me artistically right now, which is really weird. Like I was talking with my director after, because we did this kind of workshop in Provincetown, and we got some really interesting bites. Like really, like I was like, wait, like what? And I mean, obviously it's entertainment, so nothing is done until it's done.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait, is God real? Like, did everything just fall into place to lead me right here? It was all worth it.
It's so funny how that happens because we both been in this industry a while, and we all have friends who, like, I have so many friends that have been writing shows or movies, and they're like, I got you. This is a thing. And then like, oh, I'm talking to people. Yeah. And then it just stopped. Like I had a buddy of mine that I worked with at the restaurant who was an actor, but was like, I'm really going to write my own thing, and wrote it. I read the script. It was great. He goes, I want you to play like the tough guy. And I was like, I can play that, even though I am not, but I can play that.
I think you're tough.
Thank you.
Soft at heart.
But it just never materialized. But to your point, it's like, it's not done until it's done. No. So I remember calling, because I was newer to New York, so I'm calling like my family, being like, boy, oh boy, I'm going to be in a movie.
God.
It was so embarrassing.
That's really embarrassing.
Because you act too, so you know.
Oh no, I have a thing where unless I'm on set, it's not done, because I've had things fall through. Like there's a very popular show about murders that I almost like literally I was supposed, they were going to give me the dates to go to wardrobe. And then it got to be like 7 p.m. and I was like, oh, this isn't happening.
Oh, and you know that because you've been in the business long enough to where
I'm like, oh man.
I want to pivot real quick and then we'll get back to the show. What was the first role where you were like, I got it, and then it fell through?
Oh God. Oh, it was a regional production of Angels in America.
Okay.
Yeah, it was prior. It's like, and now I'm too big to play that role ever.
Yeah,
I don't look like
you are.
I'm not dying of AIDS. But I remember just being like, I was like, oh my God, I've got this. The artistic director loved me. Everything was just, it was perfect. And then I didn't get it. And I was like in my 20s and I just like, I cried.
I was going to say, were you like, this is it? This is happening?
Oh yeah. No, I was like, this is great. I'll go do regional theater. Then I'll transition to New York. Then I'll win a Tony.
Broadway,
then I'll go to Hollywood.
Tonys. Do it.
And then it's very like Les Mis now where it's like, I really had a dream my life would be so different from this hell I'm living.
Well, and it's so true too.
Yeah.
What was the first role that you got where you were like, you got it?
Yeah.
You were like, what was that?
The Normal Heart.
Okay.
The Normal Heart. And it was a regional theater. But it just like, I remember getting it and I was like 22 or 23 at the time and just being like, if I can get this now, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, if I can get this without knowing what I'm doing, imagine all the roles I'm going to be booking when I know what I'm doing.
It's
not how it works.
No, and it's the same thing in comedy. Like when I first moved here, I had met a couple people at an open mic. Shout out Tori Cole, Cody Lewis. I had met all of them at the first open mic I ever went to.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these are like professional comics who are like doing work. I remember thinking to myself and telling my ex, like, comedy in New York is going to be so easy. Because I went to an open mic and I met people who produce their own shows and like have podcasts and are like doing it. I was like, this is going to be a breeze. I didn't run into Tori until like 9 months later at a different mic. Like I just didn't see her again. And I was like, oh, harder than I thought. It's going to be harder than I thought.
You know where I think it would be easier though? Go to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think, I'm going to get myself in trouble. Let's pivot.
Okay. We'll pivot back. So,
Yeah.
LA is
something.
bananas.
It's
is
something.
Yeah.
It's something.
I go out to LA at least once a year for my buddy has a show at the store that I like to do, and he is gracious enough to put me on it. Yeah. And it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's sunshiny all the time.
Yeah, it's really the weather.
The weather. Great.
Love it. Love LA.
So when you decide, because you had mentioned the thing with Anna.
Yeah.
So take us, because I love these minute details, and there's so much that goes into putting together a production. So what happens?
Okay, well, first of all, this was not gray when I started it. This really wasn't like this is. I saw a friend recently, and they were like, "You look great, but it's giving daddy," and I was like, This is just stress.
This is doing your own show.
This is making your own show. So it also at the time I was applying to grad school for screenwriting. And so I needed to have 3 writing samples. And I had a film that was produced last year that was one of them. And then I had some other thing, like, I don't even remember what it was, like some zombie thing. And then I had this, and I had parts of it, which I was like, okay, I can piece this together, and maybe it'll start turning into a narrative. And then as I worked on that, I was also working on it as a whole on the side. And eventually it got to a place where I was ready to like show it to a friend and be like, what do you think of this?
So how long did you work on it before you got to that place?
I mean, we could argue in art that I'd been working on it for 12 years.
That's very true.
But to get it to a place where I was ready to show it to people, to act it was about a year.
Okay.
Where it was like, I'm not, because I do believe this is where I'm like, I don't know how much of a comic I am right now as much as like a sentimental artist. Like, I do believe in process.
Yes.
And I think that process is very sacred. And it's like, no, you don't get to see that because your opinions can damage the process.
100%.
Yeah.
There's so many times we
So
have.
think of all the good jokes that are lost because comics are like,
yeah. You say it at an open mic and everyone stares at you. And you go, oh, that's not funny.
Yeah. No, and it's like, it could be funny.
Yes.
You just have to keep.
There are so many, a friend of mine, and I've talked about it before, sent me all the open mics.
Yeah.
He would record our sets, like the people who were like trying to do comedy for real. When we did an open mic in Florida, he would record our sets. Yeah. Before I moved to New York, he sent me the whole file. So it was like 2 years worth of these 5-minute sets. And there are so many times where I've gone through those and gone, oh, that's a great fucking
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
But nobody in the room is laughing, so I
Yeah.
just threw it away. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, that's a good bit.
Yeah.
Like that's smart.
Yeah.
That's good.
You have to keep at it. And so yeah, it became this thing where like it took a year to present an hour of material or 55 minutes to I think I had like 20 people that were it was a mix of like I had a couple of comics, I had a couple of
This was the
actors.
table read that you did.
This was, at that point I was off book.
Okay.
The reading that was up in Hudson Valley, and that was like, if you want to talk about a God moment,
Yeah.
that was like, it was Bill Arning Exhibitions, which he's a really cool, like semi-prominent, or I shouldn't say prominent, like queer art gallerist.
Okay.
And his, I mean, yeah, like what he does, I'm like, you are the demographic for the show.
100%.
And so I had all of these people. I remember the space wasn't air conditioned and it was during a heat wave and it was awful. But these people sat through the show and it was like maybe we had like 15 or 20 people come out and afterwards they wanted to talk to me about it. And I was like, okay, we have something right
Yeah.
now. But all in all, I'd say it was a year. I also worked on it endlessly. Like it was my life.
Because that's the thing I
Yeah.
noticed with my show.
Yeah.
It was to even show it to my director.
Yeah.
It took me 3, maybe 5 months.
Yeah.
Because I came up with the idea because everyone, same kind of thing with like Anna with you,
Yeah.
where everyone was like, you have to do something with these stories. They're like, they're not funny.
Yeah.
You can't, they're not bits because they're very sad,
They are funny.
but they are
But yeah,
funny.
they're theater.
It's well, and it's so interesting too because of the way our brains work. Some of the stuff where we're like, "This is hilarious," and then
Yeah.
you say it in front of people, and they go, "Aww,"
Yeah.
and you go, "No, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no."
no, laugh. Well, that's what the most because it's still like I'm still changing my show. It changes every time I look at it. Basically, I had my director get on stage before any time we would perform it for an audience and tell people like this is a work in progress. If you think something might be funny, laugh. Like, even if you think it's really wrong or really sad or something, if you have the impulse, we just need to hear it because it'll help us edit the show. And I think that freed people up a lot.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do that, and when I did my show, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of people covering their mouths, looking down, snickering, and you're like, "No, no, no! I need you to verbalize that. I need that for the tape."
Yeah. No, I had this woman in the front row in Provincetown who I watched her, and there were a couple of times where I think that like queer life or whatever just escaped her, and she seemed on board for most of it, but I saw her just be like,
For those of you listening, Austin just put his hand to his mouth and made a sad face.
yeah. So, but yeah, no, that's kind of like a year, and now I'm on a break for a week, and then I believe next Tuesday I'm supposed to meet with my director again, and like every time we do it, we figure something out about it. And
Well,
like,
so that's the
yeah.
hard part.
Yeah.
So I did like 3 to 5 months of just writing, and literally, I went through. We had coffee one day, and he was like, "These are." I was like, "These are all the stories. You know, just bullet points,
Yeah.
like scar on my face, getting arrested, this, this, and this." And he goes, "Okay, these are the stories we should probably focus on."
Yeah.
So then I wrote and wrote and wrote, and deadlines, because it's weird because we're. Like, I can't speak for you, but I know for me, I still feel like I'm the 22-year-old kid in college. So, like, when it's like, oh, I need a hard deadline or I'm not going to get this done.
Yeah, it takes what it takes.
Yeah. And so he was giving me deadlines and I was giving myself deadlines. And then I remember the first time, my first rough draft, which is in that shoebox right over there, and I brought it to him.
Oh.
And I was like, I did it.
Yeah.
Because I've never written a show. I've only written comedy. So comedy, a lot of times it changes, like you said, as you perform it. So then you could be like, oh, it's done. But then 6 months later, it's a completely different joke.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it was the same thing with the show. Because I handed it to him and I go, it's done.
No, it's not.
We're good.
No, it's not.
Book the theater.
No, it's not. It's never
Never done.
It's never done. And when you're doing it, like, that was the hardest part of rehearsal, was like, because if you're the writer of it and you're doing it, there's also this part of your brain that's like, oh, I don't have to say this, I can change it.
Yep.
And I really had to take that hat off and just be like, no, you actually need to say it
the way it's written.
And then maybe in like a couple of weeks you can decide to rewrite it.
That was one of the hardest parts.
Yeah.
Because with the show, in my experience, we would go to rehearsal, just me and the director,
Mm-hmm.
and I rented a rehearsal space because I was like, this is more conducive for the process.
Absolutely.
And we would do it. And the thing is I would tell him a story.
Yeah.
And then he would go, okay, write it exactly how you just told it to me, because my writing brain is different than my talking brain.
Yeah.
And then I would write it exactly like I said it. But then I would do the comedy thing where I'd like pull the mic out of the stand and I'd just start riffing. And he goes, no. He goes, say it how you wrote it, how you said it before.
Yeah.
And that was one of the hardest things for me, to the point where I'm not proud of this, Austin, but with my show, because I gave myself a hard deadline to do it, I was like, it needs to be presented by then or else I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, which is smart, which is a smart thing to do.
Because we kept making changes
Yeah.
to the script until like the day before.
Yeah.
I had my script on stage with me. And almost the entire show I'm off book.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing where I'm kind of like,
I mean, I think, well, first of all, like, if you can reframe that as, like, this was a workshop production for you. Yeah, it was a workshop production. It's a work in progress. You know, you're still figuring out the kinks. But, like, I think having your script on stage, like, I think that's fine. Like, my director was in a light booth, and I told him I didn't have to do it, but I was like, I know you want to watch the show, but if I call line, I need you to be on book for me. And he was on book for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I didn't have to, but there was the possibility where, because you're fucking talking for an hour
straight,
like just straight, and there's no one else, and it's not like, especially if it's like if it's heavier material, it's not like I can't tell a joke about getting robbed. It's like, no, there's some emotional cost.
well, and I cry
Yeah.
because mine elicits emotion as well as yours. And like, there's certain times where I'm talking about something in the past, but just being on stage, being vulnerable in front of these people and talking, like there's one line I have in my show where I talk about my twin sister. Yeah. Because because we're twins and we turned 30. And
are you twins?
Yes.
Your twin sister?
Yeah, I have
twins?
a twin sister.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But the line in the show is, I thought of my twin sister and how when we were younger, she was the one always getting into trouble. Because that was true. Yeah. And then she was older now and married. And so that's the line. My sister was sitting there. Yeah. And I said the line and I turned to her and I just started bawling. And that's when I was like, thank God I have my script on stage, because I don't know where I am right now.
Isn't being a person just embarrassing?
It's so embarrassing.
It's really, you're just like,
and it was like, you know how sometimes things don't translate from the stage to the screen? Yeah. So like we recorded it, and there were certain times where I was like, oh, I got very emotional there. And then you watch it back and you go, oh, there's like one tear that rolls up. This one,
for a man, that's a lot. One tear.
And on this one, it was like, oh, you're sobbing.
Yeah.
I had to tell my editor, I was like, we have to cut around that.
No,
we had to take it from the first show, because I'm literally like,
no, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's so
good. Out.
That's like, no, put it back in. That's like the stuff where you're just like, no, like more of that, more of it's the stuff people actually want to see. Yeah. Like no one, if we wanted to see like perfect, we would watch, I don't even know what's playing on network TV right now, but like something like that where it's like, you know?
Yeah. And
no one wants that.
Rawness of it was
it's awesome.
And it was interesting too. So I want to know if you had the same experience. Yeah. At any point, because you told us about the Reed and Hudson where everyone kind of came up to you and you go, oh, we have something here. This is something I struggled with a lot. At any point did you go, who fucking cares?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. Oh my God. I for months was in like I didn't even know if it was good.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, because if you're painting something and you're so close to it, you cannot see what it even is at that point. I was like, my director is just insane, and like, he wants to make a fool of me. So, like, no one's.
I felt the same way.
No one's.
He's like more emotional. I was like, fuck off. You just want me to cry on stage.
Yeah, you just want people to laugh, and not in a good way. But I had no idea, like, if it was good. I was like, is this even a story? Is it even interesting?
Okay, that makes me feel so much, because I went through that. Yeah. And I still go through that where I'm like, nobody cares. And then I'll have people like DM me or email me and be like, this was so inspirational, like da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay, some people care.
Oh, I thought that the massage community was going to be really freaking mad at me.
Yeah.
And like, I had a couple of people, one very prominent person in the gay massage community specifically, he slid into my DMs and he was just like, I've seen a lot of like actor sex workers try, you can bleep that out because it might throw off your algorithm.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We're more than 15 minutes in. We're good.
Okay, good. But
YouTube really only checks for that kind of stuff in the first 10 minutes.
all right, word. But he was like, I've seen a lot of people try and do this and try and like show what it's like, but like you actually did do it. And
That's awesome.
And there's so many layers to it, and it's very provocative, but also vulnerable. And I was like, no, that it's stuff like that. But how I knew it was a good show was when I got someone that hated it.
Okay, tell us about it.
If nobody hates what you're doing, if nobody is just obscenely offended, if nobody
I had a couple of those.
is just like, how dare you? If no one
do you think
Yes,
you are?
if no one comes to you and they are livid as fuck and they want to like just punch you in the face, you did not make art. Like you really did it.
That is the best way to put it.
Yeah, someone has to hate it.
What was the first one?
Well, so I got two, but one, it was this very, and I've connected with him on Facebook because I'm like, that, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, you're a very sweet person. It was an older gay man who saw it, and he sent me this long message that was basically like, you lured us in with this promise of this like this show that we thought was going to be this thing, this like funny gay massage thing, and he was like, but really it's just some vapid sex crazed queen will do anything for $1, and then some stuff happens to him, and then he becomes human, then he becomes vulnerable. And I'm like, no, that's the structure of it.
Yeah.
It's like the rupture.
You are
has to
100%.
happen.
You got it.
You did. You experienced the show as it was meant to be experienced, and you didn't like it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But it was like that, and then I had another one where someone.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I just
Yeah.
love how he nailed it to
Yeah.
a T. And you were
No.
like, yeah, why are
Yeah.
you like? I understand you didn't like it, but yeah, that's the show.
No, that's literally what was supposed to happen. It's like when I meet people that don't like Fleabag, and they're like, I don't know, she just seems like really jokey until the end, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's the point.
That's literally, yeah. She's like, she's.
It's
massive.
called character development.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was the big one though. But what I'll say is I got that message, and then I had to perform like shortly after I got it. No, it was
good.
It was incredible.
Good.
It was incredible. That was the first time that my director was like, hey, the show ran long because I was so like wired and alive. And I just love
awesome.
criticism. And I felt so, I was like, oh, someone doesn't like me right now. It's such a great feeling for me. It's like when you're doing stand-up and you see someone in the audience that hates you, and you're just like,
There could be 150 people having a good
Yeah.
time. If there's one person having a bad time, it's, oh, this is your show now.
yeah, no. And our show ran, we went over like 6 or 7 minutes because I was just so on.
Yeah.
That like every joke hit, every like moment of like the facade cracking, everything of like the descent into where we wind up by the end of it. Like I was just like, oh my God, like yeah,
I am feeling it.
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm going to Broadway.
Are you filming any of these?
I have seen snippets of it. I don't want it to be filmed yet.
Okay.
I have been very, because I had a friend tell me they were like, you need to just get this up and put it up and just do it. No, and I was like, no.
As someone who did
Yeah.
that, it was a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, I'm playing the long game.
Yeah.
And like as of right now, it's going really well, which is nice. But I'm very much, I do believe in process, and I'm very much like, I don't want to. There are areas where I'll watch myself because like I'll be like, I need to see what I'm doing, and if it's reading, and it is.
Gotcha.
But I do not want to see it in full until I have a script that I feel comfortable locking. Which it was locked for Provincetown. It's not locked now. Like already, I'm like,
Locked it, unlocked it.
yeah,
locked
no,
it, unlocked
is
it.
it?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
yeah. But no, I don't want to see it yet. I really just am going off of how it feels, and also what people will tell me about their experience watching it.
Okay.
And
I
yeah.
want to ask you something because this is going to be a little bit more in the weeds. But
Yeah.
How do you find booking so real quick, my experience was I had put everything I had into booking the theater and filming it and all that. And it was one of those things where financially it was just like the theaters are expensive to rent. So it was one of those things where I was like, I have one shot at this because with the price of the theater, I only could do it one time. Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, well, if I'm going to do it this one time, I need to film it because everyone's in my ear. Because as comics, we're like, who cares? Just cut it up, put it up, cut it up, put it up, cut it up, put it up. No. So everyone's in my ear saying that. And my director was like, don't do that. Don't. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, I'm out of money.
You don't understand.
I did the whole diva, you don't get it. I'm funding this myself. I don't have any money left. Like, if I don't film this now, it's just going to go into the ether. Yeah. So for you, how are you able, do you have outside funding or do you get sponsorships or how do you just keep putting it up at different places?
Well, so, invitation up in Hudson, that was an invitation to present it as part of a series of queer artists that they were. I mean, it's an art gallery, so they wanted more performance-based things to entertain the people over the summer. Yeah. So that was the first one. The second was really just there's so many things you don't need to make art. Yeah. And I was like, no, I will rent out a big rehearsal studio.
That's so smart.
Yeah. And I will put,
I didn't even think about that.
No, just do it because that will tell you, you'll learn so much. And what's almost even better about that is you can see everyone when you're doing it. So you can see, if you're in a theater, it's really difficult to see them.
Yeah. I just saw the first row in the theater.
No, you will tell who is tapping out and who is not. And then I did crowdsource. I crowdsourced and I had a deal with my venue where they got, in Provincetown, they took, I should know this. I'm also in Debtors Anonymous. How much money did they take? They took 30% of my box office.
Oh, okay. So you were able, and that's the thing that I love about art is you can just go ahead.
Well, no, before I forget, start doing your show and submit it to the festivals. That you have to do that.
That was the big thing my director kept, and I was like, no, I'm just going to put it up online. No. Why would I do festivals when I have the internet?
No, festivals are going. The internet is an awful place.
It's terrible.
It's literally just a place where you go to tell people what's physically wrong with them. You're like, you're fat.
How did you know what my comments say?
Well, no, I had a joke up when I was selling tickets, which is I was like, I hate posting because I feel like it's just a surefire way for someone to tell you that you're bald. No, you have to do the festivals because you're with other artists and you don't know who's coming to see their work. Yeah, and a lot of the time it's producers and it's people with money. People with money like art. Yeah.
It's surprising actually. Yeah. They'll be really, let's do it.
They're like, here's a couple of $1,000.
And for them it's nothing. Yeah. And for us it changes our lives.
Yeah. Wait, I literally have that in I talk about a billionaire client on the Upper East Side that I've had, which is every time he pays me, he makes a point to tell me he threw in a little extra. $20 every time. Dude, you could change my life and it would mean nothing to you. So it's funny that you said that because I'm like, that's actually it. Yeah, that's literally.
I think about that with just from the world of comedy all the time because at the restaurant I work at, I have some regulars that are super famous, and we're always talking comedy and having a good time and stuff. And I go, oh, you could just invite me on your podcast and change my life. And it would be one episode in the thousands of episodes that you have. Yeah. It would mean nothing to you.
Nothing.
But to me, it would be the biggest credit of my life.
Absolutely. But you have to do the festivals. Yeah. You should, especially, and because yours is recovery focused, do the recovery circuit of booking that.
Yeah. So that's a big thing I've been trying to get into. It's just one of those things. And I don't know if you had this experience from the perspective of your show with the demographic. But it is interesting because I've been sober now for 7 years and I've been in and out of AA for 12. Yeah. So I know so many people, but it is one of those weird things where as soon as I present it as this is something for me, I get a lot of pullback. A lot of people being like, well, this is to help other people. This isn't so you can become famous. And I go, that's not the point of the show.
That's what you need to leave. You have to reframe it. Okay. You have to reframe it that this isn't for you. This is for them. Yeah. That was when we were talking about my show and what the message was and stuff like that. It took, I still don't even think I know it by heart, but we were like, we have to find something out of Austin wants to write and perform. that is the purpose behind this. And like, and so it was this list of like, okay, you know, think of all the people, because I don't know about you, but like I am so sick of rich people making art.
Yeah.
Like I'm over it.
I'm so over it.
So anytime you or I or someone else does like a solo show, it's almost like an act of defiance or rebellion, because the system is not set up for anyone in New York to make art that is not a Nepo baby or has a trust fund, you know?
Yeah.
Because we're working a million different side hustles.
Well, and that's the hard thing where it's like you think to yourself, how is that person passed there? How did that get made? And it's like, oh, either themselves or their friend is super wealthy, and they just kept throwing money at it until enough people saw it to now they have a career, and you go, yeah, but mine's good.
Yeah. No.
But wait, mine's good.
I know. But what about the work? No one. Oh, I was about to say something so shady, and I'm not going to say it. But it was something about comics specifically. Like, it will get me into trouble. So let's.
So we don't have to say it.
We don't have to say it.
I do want to say, because you had mentioned you are also sober.
Yeah.
So, and how long have you been sober?
13 years. God, 13.
Shout
years,
out.
dude. It's so weird.
Was this experience going through some of these old stories and stuff? Was this? I don't like the word triggering, but that's the best word for it. Was this triggering for you in any way, doing the work? Okay.
Not at all. I will say, I tried so hard to not have recovery be a part of because I was like, I don't want to be that 35-year-old gay man who's sober and talks about it on a stage.
You don't want to be the 37-year-old comic whose entire brand
no,
is...
and then it got to the end, and I was like, fuck, I have to
be a
say
part of it.
something. God damn it! Like,
It didn't happen because of nothing.
I know, no, and then it wound up. It's so funny because like it wound up actually being a really important part of the show, and I'm such an asshole because I'm like, oh, this thing saved my life, but it's kind of lame.
Super lame.
Yeah, like,
it is it's so interesting you bring that up, because it is one of those things where it's like I have embedded because originally it was because I'm a storyteller as a comedian. And it's a part of my story. Yeah. And a lot of my bits come from the dumb shit I did when I was drunk. Yeah. And it was funny. Yeah. And so they became bits. Yeah. But now it has become such a thing where it's like my entire life is. So I brought up the triggering thing because it is interesting to me. And I'm sure this happens to you where you kind of, I'll speak for myself. I roll my eyes a lot of times when people are like, you work in a restaurant, you perform at bars. How are you sober? And I'm like, I don't think you understand the reason I got sober. Yeah. Like, none of this matters to me. Like, if I'm going to drink, it's not going to be because I'm around alcohol. No. It's going to be because something traumatic has happened, and I'm like, fuck this. Yeah. So for you, writing the show and everything, did you have people who were coming up to you about the recovery aspect of it? Or was it mainly just about the gay monsieur culture?
It was both. It was one. Also, I mean, like, there's kind of a motif that I touch on about just like, I guess it would be masculinity within the gay culture, as well as just like queer loneliness. Like there are these things that, like, you know, I'm making jokes about it early on, and then there's this descent that happens that's very just like, and that was something that I did want to do for the community, really, to be like, you know, we have these things happening right now and no one ever talks about them. Like why is it that like 95% of us feel the need to do steroids? Like, you know, why is it that like I have friends who are wonderful, amazing men that like for whatever reason just and they want partners so badly, but they just pick the worst people, imagine, like all of these things. So I did have people come up to me about just like the queer cultural aspect, as well as the gay massage aspect, and then the recovery part, because I have this like 3-minute monologue in the end that's just like the guy and his shout out to Shane. Shout out to Shane. The guy in the lighting booth, like when we were teching it, I could see him sobbing because I just like go and go and go. And that is kind of all of it together, and it's all of the I don't even know what I was saying, except yes, people do resonate with the sobriety elements of it.
Well, and that's the thing I love about it. We meet so many people, and a lot of our friends, and we love them, but a lot of our friends were kind of like, You're going to talk about jerking off for the third time?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I will actually. It's really fun. It's really great.
you know what I mean? Like,
why can't we all talk about it more?
that's true.
Yeah.
But also my point is kind of like one of those things where it's like, oh, you haven't like lived an experience.
Yeah.
Like you haven't lived
a life.
a life.
Yeah.
And I hate saying it like that because it's not true. Like, you know, a lot of these people went to college and have jobs and this, but it's like, it's just a different thing.
Yeah.
From the norm with like people like me or people like
Yeah.
you, where it's like, it was a little different.
Yeah.
I literally was sitting here with Tracy last night and we were talking about our college experience and how much different it was because like like her family, like I was like, oh, did your parents like drop you off on the first day of school with like the bag full of stuff?
Did it?
And,
Not
like,
my experience.
Not
Not my experience.
What was that like?
No, they put me in a car that took me to the airport and dropped me off in New York.
And she was like talking about, she's like, yeah, my mom cried and stuff. And I was like,
Nope.
what would that even look like?
Wait, no, they missed you? What was that mean? I don't understand.
Like, and I was like, well, I guess there's a reason I stand in front of strangers and go, like me, like me, like me, like me, like me.
No, well, that's the thing that like it's the first line in my closing or it's not the first, it's like the second or third, and it's like what is it? Oh, I'm terrified that everything in my life revolves around this deep, disgusting need to be wanted in any way that I can be.
Beautiful.
And it's just like because and it's not just. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people do abuse substances because it's just like this void and this hunger. I mean, they talk about it in the rooms that like really the only way to kind of subdue it is to either find the solution or go to town.
Yeah. And that was my experience. Was like I was just like I got to fill this hole.
Yeah.
And it was drugs. It was booze.
Yeah.
It was people. It was just anything I could to feel better about being me.
Yeah.
And-
Which is so weird, isn't it? Like you are you, and you have to work on like, oh man, I have to accept this.
And instead, I was like, why don't we just black out? That's fine. We'll just do that over and over and over. I wanted to ask, what is the future of the show as of now?
So it's interesting that you say that. I do know that we have, there are 5 performances that we will have that someone reached out to us about doing them. And so we will do them. I don't know if I can say what that is yet. I know Thursday I'll meet with my director. It's either Tuesday or Thursday of next week. And we'll talk about if we're going to stage maybe like 2 weekends in New York with the current script, or if we want to, because there's some things I want to change, if we want to go into rewrites and then do that.
So you have this set up very professional.
Oh yeah.
Like
No.
you're like, oh no, we'll go rewrites and then because for me, a lot of times, like we were talking about earlier, I just be like, I don't like that line.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
No, this is like, I took 2 meetings for this while I was in Provincetown that I was like, oh my God, this might work. I was like, wait, it's all going according to plan. Yeah, no, literally. But no, there's definitely a schedule, and it's funny because, I'm not close with my dad at all. And he never obviously we don't talk. He doesn't talk about the show, but he knows that it's happening. And he said something because like I had someone reach out about potentially wanting to partner with it and give us money. And he was like, well, and he got really like, how did you do that? And I was like, I'm not just making this just for me. It is a business strategy. I'm trying to launch a career that exists beyond me doing day player roles on television. I'm trying to be.
Which you are great in.
I am trying to. I just taped one last night. I'm trying to be fucking Phoebe Waller-Bridge or like Richard
It's
Gadd.
fascinating when they don't. Parents, family members, friends, when they don't get it.
Yeah.
I go through this a lot, and I think I could say it, but I'll just say there's someone in my life who is so confused about how to make money through doing comedy. Yeah. And the realest thing I can ever say to them is, because they're not a big like entertainment person. Like they don't go to concerts, they don't listen to stand-up. And I go, well, you read books, don't you? No. And they go, yeah. And I go, so if you like a book, you go out and buy the book. And they go, yeah. And I go, same thing.
That's it.
Same thing.
That's literally it.
And they have no they're like, yeah, but you're doing comedy. That's different. I go, same thing. Entertainment.
It's writing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. No, you're getting something out of it.
But it's so fascinating how people are just like, oh, you're not just getting up there like with a microphone, like just dicking around. It's like, I kind of had a plan.
I hate because so many, and it's straight men and it's a certain kind of gay men that like if they're funny with their friends, they think that they can do stand-up comedy, and I'm like,
Oh, we see it.
oh yeah, no, and I'm like, yeah, please let me know how that works for you. Like, please go up. And I heard about someone that I know that did go to an open mic, and they're very charming and like an attractive guy, gay guy. And apparently it was just such a fucking disaster. And I was like, good.
Can I tell you something that
Yeah.
it's not very spiritual of me,
give
but
it
I
to
did
me.
it anyway?
Yeah.
So in the rooms, we would do talent shows and stuff back
Yeah.
home in Florida, like a sober
Yeah.
thing. And this one guy at every talent show was doing comedy, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
He was basically just ripping off Jeff Foxworthy, but instead of
Oh, Jeff Foxworthy.
yeah,
I
but
forgot.
instead of
Is he dead?
No, he's still
Okay,
alive.
just one of them's dead though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Instead of the whole like you know you're a redneck, it was
Yeah.
you know you're an addict or you know
Yeah.
you need recovery,
Yeah.
and then he would just throw stuff in, and he was telling people he was a comic.
Yeah.
And I was in the rooms one day, and someone came up to because I was like got sober, like head first back into stand up. I'm
Yeah.
I'm traveling,
Yeah.
I'm doing shows, I'm hitting open mics, like I'm doing the whole thing. And then someone comes up to me and they go, "Oh, so and so does comedy too," and I was like, "I don't." Do they?
Yeah.
And so I talked to him, and he's identifying as like, "Yeah, I'm a comedian. I've performed at 3 of the talent shows for AA. I'm a comedian." And I was like, "You should come to an open mic with me."
Yeah.
And I brought him knowing what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And when he like crashed and burned, I was so satisfied.
Yeah. No.
And I walked up to him after, and I'm not proud of this, but I walked up to him after. I go, "Don't ever tell anybody you're a comedian again."
Oh my God. Okay, that's
Not very
taking it
spiritual. That was a little
That's
mean.
taking it too far. But it is that thing of where you're just like, if someone claims a title and you're like, no, I don't think you understand how much work goes into this.
Yeah.
It's like I know someone that tried to say, I know a comic that tried to say they were an actor once, and I was like, let me know when you get the audition, go through producer, or get the audition, get the callback, go through producers, then you're pinned and you've gone through the whole. Then tell me you're an actor, or let me know when you've gone to the Berkshires to work for a couple $100 a week on like some random ass like Ibsen play or something like that.
It's
Like,
crazy to me
yeah.
too because the like entry is
Yeah.
so easy.
Yeah.
The barrier to entry is so easy with the arts because you can just say,
Yeah.
I do this.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
guess
not
he
like
does
being
that.
a doctor.
No, yeah.
Like, yeah.
You don't need credentials.
You don't.
You
You
could
really
just
don't.
say I do.
Yeah.
But the thing is the credentials go. So I remember like staying up super late at night on this computer, like revamping the IMDb for the show. Because when I released the show, I was like, well, I have to give everyone credit and do all this.
It's so exciting giving
And
yourself
I
an IMDb credit.
Remember Googling my name and
Yeah.
it popping up and being like, I did it.
Yeah, no,
I did it.
It's such a great feeling. Like, especially if you see something, and especially if it's like a good thing. Like, I've Googled myself a couple of times, and it's like Austin is known for, and then it lists some TV shows, and I'm like, I matter.
I am known for that. I
But then-
did do that.
I did, but then it's also like. Well, that was a long time ago. I'm like, you haven't worked in over a year.
I had someone on the podcast who started as an actress, and she's a great actor, but
Yeah.
it was just so funny because she hadn't done acting in a little
Yeah.
while, like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so it was just fascinating because then I pull up, I link the IMDb to the show notes and all this stuff, and I'm looking at it, and it's like 2014, 2015, 2015, 2017.
Yeah.
But,
And then
you're like,
oh.
but they are still an actor.
Yeah.
They
No, it just
do
gets-
acting, but it's just one of those things where it's like it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard, and because acting, so much of it is, it's about how you look.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it is, it's like if you're in a weird in between stage, like, especially as this was an actress, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel for them so bad. Like, I'm like, that's a hard life.
Yeah.
Like, to be an actress, I'm like that. I don't think anyone has it harder than actresses.
It's
No,
could
there
not
are
imagine.
people that have it harder than actors.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
but in
there
this
are.
this realm of industry,
In
but-
the entertainment, it's actors.
and then just in life in general, I think actresses really have it
they really do
harder than anybody.
anyone.
If I can be honest, like I know heroin addicts, and their life is not as hard. as-
I want to know how your fillers are settling. I wanna know,
Absolutely.
like, yeah.
How often are you going for
I actually run a
treatments?
non-for-profit, and it's about getting actresses the Botox and fillers
That they need,
to
of course.
sustain their careers.
They need
because,
it.
Yeah.
You don't need Suboxone.
No.
They need their filler.
But yeah, no, it's very.
But it is, and this is a point that I want to make, because you have been sober for a long time. You did the show. How do you feel from a just a perspective of your life in the sense of is this one of those things where you're like, I did it?
Well, it's not done.
Yeah.
So I can't. But it's interesting. There's a feeling of, I actually went into therapy and I was like, what is this? I feel this thing. And my therapist was like, it sounds like you're proud of yourself, Austin. And I was like, wait, what? No.
Icky.
Ew, no, bad. But it's it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, it's interesting. I've laid groundwork and it's actually working. Mm-hmm. This is kind of wild. And then to do it, I am proud of myself for doing it. And it's not done, but I think what I'm most proud of is that this is kind of the last thing of hiding something where it's I really dodged any. I think stand-up was the first time I ever talked about it because, I remember my old agent and this playwright and my old sponsor, NAA. They were all like, never tell anyone that you do this thing. Yeah. Because it was the 2010s and they were like,
taboo.
Yeah. But then Euphoria comes out and it's we're down for whatever. Yeah. So yeah, there is a thing of I'm very proud of myself for being no, this is actually this is how I've sustained a life in New York for I've been here 15 years now. And I a large portion of it has been doing that, and it's been very good to me at times. It's given me a lot of stories, and it is one of those things of they say in the rooms, a life beyond your wildest dreams. I'm this is really not what I would have dreamed for myself. Yeah, never in a million years would I have thought.
Would I pin this down?
Yeah.
It is, God, and the reason that's important for me to hear is because the same kind of thing. When I did the show, it was just one of those things where, like you said, it's never done. Yeah. But having written all the stories down, having performed it in my head, as far as a sense of because I was trying to shoehorn it into my stand-up. I was trying to push these stories into every podcast I did. I was I have to talk about these specific stories. But then when you write it as a show, I can kind of close the book and go, the stories are here. Yeah. That's where the stories live now. Yeah. And I can adjust it. I can edit it. I can rewrite it. But all those stories that I'm always forcing are now, they live here now. Yeah. And that's fine. I can move on. Yeah. Which was super cathartic for me because it was I don't have to talk about, I had this bit for the longest time that I closed on about how I got the scar on my forehead from getting into a fight. Yeah. And it was it's a crazy, sad story about me hurting myself to prove a point. Mm-hmm. And it was it's not funny, but I used to always try to close on it because it was so intense. Yeah. But then, you put it in the show and then you go, I don't need it. That's where that lives now. Yeah, absolutely. That lives over here, so I don't have to do it for my stand-up anymore. Yeah.
Well, I think that's when you get over but I think that's also just one of the great things about art is that it does help you move past things. I used to have a lot of trauma-based jokes and I don't tell them at all.
Me neither.
Anymore. Yeah, I won't. I had it's just whatever. I had, and they were great jokes about being molested as a kid. And I was like, oh man, those are so good. But now I'm I don't need to say that. I know. But I do think you hit on something really interesting and really cool, which is that having those stories physically, in a binder where you can see them, I think that does it does something for any and all artists of being able to be that. I materialized that. Mm-hmm. I brought that from here and now it's there. And if I want, I can pick it up. But we're creators. And so you created something that you can see.
It is a crazy thing to be weird. Oh, it's right here. Yeah. When people are hey, can you send me the file? I go, click. There it is.
Take a look.
That's my life.
Yeah, that's it.
On
that's
paper.
It for now. But that's
28 pages.
Exactly. Wait, are you at 28?
Yeah.
How long is your show?
My show's 47 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wanted to keep it as tight as possible.
Get it to 50.
Yeah.
I think 50 minutes is
There's a couple stories we took out that I was very upset that we took out, but my director was we got to tighten it up.
No, I haven't seen your show. I want to see it though. Please submit it to festivals.
I will.
You should keep doing it.
This was great.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm glad we were able to talk about the show.
Me too. I am too, especially because I did some podcasts on this and one of them Love him, great guy. All he wanted to talk about was my chest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, this is how
You have a
they-
fantastic chest.
I do. I do. People. I had a guy at the gym say, he was like, Austin, and I was like, have we met? And he was like, no, but I've seen your chest on Instagram. And I was like, all right.
Love it.
Yes.
Plug everything one more time. The
Yes.
show, the social media, all of it.
Gamer's First Guide to Happy Endings. You can follow us on Instagram at Gamer's First Guide. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Austin with 4 N's JB. I should probably change that. And
I'll have it all linked in the notes.
Is there anything I'm in right now that you can see? There will be more with the solo show, and hopefully I book this thing I just auditioned for. So
Beautiful.
Yeah, great.
This was awesome. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T. Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. I'll be in Denver by the time you're listening to this in a couple of weeks, so we'll talk to you all then.
Woo! Yes, we did it.
We did it.
Fuck